Okay, so we're back. Thank you for being with us. We go straight into it, to the book of Luke chapter 15. We're going to be reading from verse 11, the story of the two sons. So this is our part 2 for today. Sorry about the internet things. We've rebooted, and let's believe that this will be better. Bible says, welcome back, Kay. Welcome back. And the Bible says, a certain man had 2 sons. The younger of them said unto the father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger gathered all together, and he took his journey into a far country. Hi, Carol. Good evening. How are you? He took his journey into a far country and wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to the citizens of of that country, and they sent him into the field to feed swines. And when he had fain filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave him anything. And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father have bread enough to eat and to spare, and I perish with hunger? Welcome back, Bar Mavis. How are you? Good evening, ma'am. It says, and I perish. Then in verse 18 it says, I will arise and go to my father and say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called your son. Make me as one of your heirs, your hired servant. And he arose and came to the father, but when he was yet to come, he was a great way off. The father saw him, had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said to the father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, I am no more worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe and put upon him. Welcome back, Amber. And put it on him, and put the ring on his hand and shoe on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For my son was dead and is alive, he was lost and is found, and they began to be merry. Now his elder son was in the field, and he came and drew near to the house and heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked and said, What does this thing mean? And he said, Your brother is come, and your father has killed the fatted calf because he has received him safe and sound. And he was angry and would not go into the house. Therefore came the father out and entreated him. And he answered and said, Lo, my father, this many years do I serve you, neither transgressed I at any time your commandment. And yet you neither gave me a kid that I may make merry with my friends. But as soon as this your son was come, which has devoured thy living with harlots, you have killed for him the fatted calf. And he said unto him, My son, you are ever with me. All that I have is thine. It was meet for me to make merry and be glad. For this your brother was dead and is alive again, was lost and is found. Now, this is a beautiful story of the sons of God. Now, here, most of the time, people see it as just 2 sons. They look at the older and the younger. In this story, if you read from verse 1 and 2, in fact, and verse 3, you'll see that the younger son is the sinners, the ones that the Pharisees were looking at and saying, these are sinners. How can you be around them? So in Luke chapter 15, verse 1, in verse 2, the Pharisees question and say, how can this man, if he was truly of God, what is he doing with sinners? How can he be with sinners? And then in verse 3, Jesus is entering Pharisees. And Jesus starts with the story was the story about, the third story is the story about the lost. We lost here because we're not being celebrated. Meaning, the older